Today's episode is brought to you by our sponsoring partner, the Campaign for Black Male Achievement. CBME has worked over the past decade to support Black men and boys to provide them the right word or the right person at the right time on their journey towards realizing their full potential. I value CBME's efforts, their focus, and the investments that they have made to define this new field for Black male achievement and to rewrite the narrative that we want for our country. If you've not yet done so, I urge you to visit tbpod.com/partners today and learn more about CBME and consider joining their membership and investing in the future of our Black men and boys.
You're listening to the trailblazers.fm podcast, where we'll explore the stories of today's successful Black professionals, entrepreneurs, and leaders. Join us to access the knowledge, resources, and tools of these accomplished professionals and come away with the know-how, confidence, and motivation you'll need to blaze your trail. And now, here's your host, Stephen A. Hart.
What's good, Blazer Nation? Last week's episode 200 was such an amazing blessing. I just appreciate everyone that reached out over the course of this week. If you missed it, definitely go back and check out that episode. As we approach the end of the year and get ready for 2020, I was thinking about what we actually wanted to share with you. And I wanted to PON di Replay and bring back a past guest that had a great episode that I think is going to help you and inspire you to get working on your vision for the new year and beyond. Our guest today, for that reason, is Lucinda Cross. Lucinda is a master coach, best-selling author, award-winning speaker, and an energetic teacher who is just great at both personal and professional development work. In 2006, she started her brand Activate and Activate Your Life Today, and she's the president of Activate Worldwide. I wanted to give a shout out before we jumped into listening to Lucinda's conversation. I wanted to give a shout out to the more than 100 members of our Blazer Nation that immediately took me up on the call to action last week to join our new Blazer Nation community. I appreciate all of you jumping in. If you have not yet had a chance to do so and you'd like to join our community, our exclusive community of other like-minded trailblazers, I want you to hop on over right now to stephenahart.com/blazernation. Sign up, join other trailblazers in our community, and let's get to doing this work together next year, right? So let's not delay any further. Go ahead and grab a pad and a pen. Get set to receive today's motivational mission fuel from Lucinda Cross. Lucinda, welcome and thanks for joining us on today's episode.
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much for having me. I am excited.
So am I. I'm so excited to have you on the podcast. I know you're going to help us blaze our trail into next year using some of your wisdom and knowledge that you're about to share with our community.
Absolutely. I came to activate.
That's right. That's right. So Lucinda, one of the things we love to do here on the Trailblazers podcast is begin every episode from a place of gratitude. I believe that it removes any kind of wrong energy or, frustration or anger or whatever you might have had, right? Coming into the conversation, right? It removes that pride, it removes all that frustration and sets us up for a very successful conversation. So with that said, I'd love you to share what you're most grateful for in your life right now.
I'm grateful for a peace of mind. I remember there was a point where there was just so much going on that I couldn't even see my way out.
Wow.
So I'm just grateful to have a peace of mind right now.
Yes. So important, right?
Yes. Can't operate without it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, as I was looking over your story, and Lucinda, as I will share in our bio and show notes, she's done an amazing job of being a TEDx speaker. And I was looking at your TEDx talk, Creating a We Nation. And there's 3 powerful words that I heard you say: rebuild, restore, reinvent. And I'm not sure of the actual date of your TEDx, but this was your call to action. And, Lucinda, as we look around right now in our communities today, be it digital or physical, there's this sense of lost hope, and a feeling that is more, that, we need more, right? To help with the healing of our communities, of our society, of our nation, but I don't feel like much is happening, right?
Yes.
And, watching your TEDx had me thinking of the need for a we nation mindset because, we should all be looking, right, at next year with this mindset towards achieving our best year ever and not really worrying and fretting and holding back, right? So I'd love you to start us off tonight and give me your take on what it will take for us to be able to rebuild, restore, and reinvent.
Oh my goodness, you have this so down. Like, I mean, you've listened to the video, and I'm just glad that you were able to grab the main point of what I was trying to convey in creating a We Nation. And it's based on my own frustrations because we hear change and you really don't see as much movement unless something really drastic happens or is affecting one particular individual or class. But I think when we as a people, whether you're brown, green, yellow, orange, purple, a unicorn, what have you, mermaid, everybody has a title now. No, seriously, but no matter, we as a people, we have to look at all of these issues that are happening as our issues. It's not something that's their issue, it's our issue. And if we begin to pay attention because everybody's into the me mindset. Well, if this is not affecting me, my family's not affected by it. Well, somebody else lost a son and there's a certain level of injustice, but there's a voice that we can lend as a mother, a brother, someone in the community, someone who just respects the fact of being that we're all human beings, so lending our voice is the beginning. Whether you are going through it, have gone through it, and realizing that we are community and their problem is our problem is their problem. It's not a me thing. No one's in this by themselves. And I think that's where the creation of this We Nation cannot just start, but continue. The protests have to continue. The voices have to continue. Showing up has to continue. So all of this is a starting point when we look at what is the most pressing issues, because we each have our own burdens that we lay on our own hearts.
Right.
For me, it's men being falsely incarcerated. That's something that has burdened me since I was like 12. I'm praying for them and didn't even know what was going on. Children, young children being abused sexually and physically. That's something that bothered me. Have I been affected by it? No, but it's still something that I still lend my voice to and show up for. So that's just an example of how to get started and continue.
Yes. I appreciate you sharing that. So this next year is fast approaching. And, I know you're a big believer in vision boarding. And you actually host some of the most amazing vision board parties. And for those that maybe are listening that aren't yet hip to this idea just yet, let's start off by maybe having you explain what a vision board is.
Yes, a vision board. Oh, my goodness. I love them. They are something that inspires me. A vision board is where you put your goals, GOALS, your goals in living color in front of your face. What does your next look like? And so you can cut out and get yourself in the energy of already receiving the desires of your heart. And it also helps in terms of planning for success and setting yourself up for success despite what you are going through and your current situation. And some people consider it a collage. They call it their dream board. They put their dreams up there. Some people call it their passion board, their faith board, whatever you call it. This vision board allows you to place your vision, take it out of your mind, take it out of your heart, and put it in living color in front of you so that you can see what's next for you. And it's a fun exercise.
Right. No, this is great. I love the idea because I'm a visual person as well. So I love to see things right in front of me. And it's a little bit more interesting based on the way you explained it just now than me just writing out goals, right? Though I'm a very task-oriented person. Ask most of these trailblazers that listen to me day in and day out, they hear me talk about Asana and Evernote till they're probably sick. But, I have a couple thoughts, thought bubbles right now that are on top of my head. And, these questions are popping up as I hear you explain the vision board, right? And I'm thinking, okay, this looks pretty, but how's it actually going to help me achieve my goals in the coming year?
Got it. Got it. Now that's the tricky part because everyone,
Right.
well, my vision board didn't work for me last year.
Mm.
Here's the
Or you
thing.
didn't work
It's
the vision board.
right. You didn't work the vision board. It's not a Ouija board. You're not
Right.
putting it up there and it's saying, go to the left at 12 o'clock. No, this thing, it's not the vision board and I share it all the time. It's not the vision board that's the problem. It's the visionary. And
Wow.
so the vision,
Repeat that
everything
one
that
more time for me, Lucinda.
it's not the vision board that's the problem. It's the visionary.
Amen.
Because everything that we are surrounded by, everything, if you just stop, those who are listening, and look around, everything that you see, that you touch, started from someone's vision, whether they called it a blueprint, whether they called it a structure, the building that you're in, the house that you're living in, it all started with a vision. We are an example of what God's vision board looks like, as
Yes.
people.
Mm.
So this thing, everything that has been created has started with someone's mind. So it's your job as the visionary to say, okay, I put this house up on my vision board. I want to get a house for 2017. So now what is the action steps that you need to take? And people forget about the steps and the work that's required.
Right.
So the house is not just going to drop in your lap. Now your dream house is calling you just as much as you're calling it. I remember
Mhm.
reading a quote before, and now it's my quote because I took my own pieces and added to it.
Right.
But the quote is, your dream is calling you. The dream has chosen you more than you have chosen it. And that's a beautiful
Mm.
thing to know that your dreams want you just as much as you want it. Your vision wants to come to fruition for you just as much as you want to see it for yourself. But a lot of people forget to do the work. You can't just slap a picture up on the board. That's nice. But what are you going to do to get there? What are the steps that you're going to take? And a lot of it has to do with mindset over money.
Right. Right. Love this. Love this. So, what would I actually need, right, in order to begin to put a vision board together?
One, I would say get some of your favorite music.
Right.
You get a poster
So
board.
you have to get in a vibe.
Get in a vibe. Pull out your
Ah.
candles. If your candles, incense, whatever will set you to relax
Right.
and to release the stress and the worries of the world,
Yeah.
and just put yourself in that mode. Your supplies,
Mm.
markers, scissors, magazines, your favorite magazines, if travel. I always say when you're starting your first vision board, you focus on your Fab Five: your faith, your family, your friends, your finances, and fitness. Faith,
Fitness.
family, friends, finances, and fitness.
Love that.
Your Fab Five. And this is a great way to get started if you don't know where to start with a vision board,
Mm.
because it'll allow you to, one, put your main goal that you want to have accomplished for the year. So this main goal out of everything else. Maybe you want more love in your life. Maybe you want more vacations, more free time. Maybe you're looking to get that promotion. Whatever that big goal is, make sure that it's big and it's your ultimate goal. And then focus on those Fab Five areas. What could you do more? What do you desire more within your faith, your family, your friends, your finances, and your fitness? Finances, you could want to save more. Finances, you may want to get out of debt. So everything that you'll put on your board in terms of finances would be debt free, would be, maybe you may write yourself a check.
Right. Wow.
Jim Carrey did
Jim
that for
Carrey.
himself.
Yep.
Yeah,
$10
yeah,
million check for Dumb and Dumb, I think.
exactly. Yep.
Right.
Yep. And so these are the things that you put on your board, and it helps you to stay focused. It helps you to stay focused. So scissors, glue, markers, stickers, affirmation cards, maybe a favorite scripture, definitely a picture of yourself or put your loved ones on there. You also want to have maybe some construction paper, some colorful paper. For women, you may want glitter. For guys, you just may want to just have like a nice plain manly board, but you decorate your board, and it's not something that you do overnight. It's something that you continue to work on
Mm.
maybe month after month, and you revisit this thing. Maybe you may look at your board once a day. Maybe you'll look at it once a week on a Sunday. Maybe you'll visit it the times that you're feeling hopeless and you're like, oh my gosh, things are not going my way. You can look at your board and say, wait a minute, there's purpose on this board. Which one am I
Right.
going to go for today to become better?
So it's kind of like an anchor point, like a compass point, right? Like it's
Mm.
helping you to kind of see where's north, right?
Oh God, yes. Oh,
Right?
I
So you
may
can
need to
choose on.
take that. That's good right there. It's a compass. Yes.
So you know what I love about what you said about the Fab Five more than anything, right?
Mhm.
Is I feel like it was maybe about 3 or 4 years ago that I actually had this revelation, if you will,
Mhm.
where I was like, you know what? All too often when we have the 10 goals that we want to achieve for the new year, all too often people set these goals and they're very selfish goals. They're very me
Mm.
goals. And I
Mhm.
love the fact that you brought up family and friends. Like
Mm.
I had one goal this year, one goal. And it was really centered around the Trailblazers podcast. I just wanted to see this thing come to life. And it had
Yes.
everything to do with me pouring out into others, right?
Love it.
And as a result, it's fulfilled so much in me, right? But it's helped so many people. So I challenge people to kind of really take this Fab Five because there is a lack of balance in just thinking of just yourself or just others, right? And
Yes.
you're touching on some of the other important things with fitness, that you have to take care of yourself, right? So I love that. I really, really do. I want to get a little bit deeper with you, right?
Okay.
I'm sure you're using the vision board more than anything to kind of help with the clarity, right? And this visual inspiration, as you echoed a minute ago, to pursue, to help us pursue our goals. I'm curious to know, maybe if you could share a specific strategy or technique that you implemented this year with your vision boarding that really helped you, as we look at the end of the year here, right? It really helped you to actually achieve your biggest goals on your board for this year. Like, was there
Wow.
anything that really helped?
One of the things that really has helped me was to get focused because what end up happening for me, I'll start to see many of the things on my vision board manifest.
Mm,
And so then I'll get so excited in the manifestation part that I may miss certain elements that are really important that keeps the train going, so to
wow.
speak, in terms of myself. So as I'm watching the goals come to fruition, I'm not taking care of myself, so to speak, to slow down and smell the roses. So now I'm in more, more, more. Oh my gosh, this is happening.
So you're
Great.
moving
More.
on and adding to when you
Yeah.
replay, you're
Yeah.
just replacing the next goal without actually having like mini victories.
Exactly. And so
Ah,
now it's just like, okay, this happened. So now let's let this happen. And now I'm going to work towards
right.
this. And so I became an overachiever to where I was being burnt out.
Wow.
And you don't want to do that because you miss the blessings and you miss the connections that you make along the
Yes.
way. And I had to backtrack and say thank you and
Mm-hmm.
backtrack and just be grateful and backtrack and send cards and emails. I appreciate you for showing up and supporting and not getting so caught up
Right.
in the success after success after success. That's great. But when you get there and you're clapping and all you hear is two hands clapping, that's not fun. I prefer to
Right.
feel the hugs of, oh my gosh, we did it. And so they were waiting for me to come back and say, oh, thank you. I appreciate you instead of slapping another large goal on the board and another large goal and another large goal. So gratitude for me was something that was major that I learned this year to have a higher level of gratitude. I'm always grateful. I'm always humble. But when you start to achieve more, it's going to require greater faith, greater humility, and greater gratitude. So one of the main things that I was able to
Mm-hmm.
accomplish this year on my board, I've been seeking this sponsor. And so year after year, I would put the sponsor on my board and I would put the sponsor on my board and I would put the sponsor on my board, but not making a real connection. And so I made a connection, a real connection with the sponsor, not just a hi, hello, but really stepped out of my shell and really put myself out there and being vulnerable, swallowing my pride to say, not, hey, look at me. I've done such great work these past years. You should want to join me. But how can I support and be of service? And just showing up with empty hands and not asking for anything opened the door for my main sponsor to cover my full conference this year that just passed in September.
Right. And this is great. You just teed me up here. So, I'm thinking, right? Like you've done so many of these, and I'm sure that you find yourself and, find this both with the case of you helping others and you helping yourself, right? Unpack your greatest fears in the process of this,
Mm.
right? And I want to hear, some of what you help others to do, to be able to manage fear and what might feel like maybe low odds of success to achieve a goal that we'd like to achieve, right?
Mhm.
And, I'd love to hear maybe, what can you say that'll help us still take the action towards achieving those big goals, despite that fear that stands in the way of us even taking that step.
Absolutely. I say feel the fear and do it anyway.
Love it.
Really, you
Yeah.
have to. I have a video. It's so old, but it's just so relevant on YouTube. And I say, I have to learn to eat fear for breakfast because I had a fear of rejection that was horrible to the point that I would not even ask or put myself out there because I did not want to be rejected. And it stemmed from me being the oldest, the only girl, and constantly being pushed to the side. And I had to get over that and say, you're a grown woman now. How long are you going to hold on to that 12-year-old girl,
Wow.
13, 14, 15-year-old girl who had to get pushed to the side because she had 3 younger brothers who were adorable and they needed mommy's attention. And
Right.
sometimes I had to take seconds, thirds, and last because the way things were set up. But how long am I going to hold on to this? Am I going to allow this to stop me from being successful? And once I had a deep conversation with myself to get over myself, I said, Lucinda, you're going to have to eat fear for breakfast. Rejection is not bad. Take it, let your stomach hurt, feel sick about it, but you just gotta keep moving forward. And as easy as it sounds, it was hard,
It is.
but fear, for me now, is once I feel it, I know I'm on to something. If I don't feel that fear, that queasiness, that mind tricks, the games, I've self-sabotaged myself to the point that I was broke. I have tried perfectionism to the point where my lights were turned off and my car was towed.
Wow.
So once you get frustrated enough with fear, you look at that thing and say, hold on, let me put you on a piece of bread, fold you up and eat you real quick because I have to keep moving because I fear being broke now. I fear, the fact that I would allow a fear to take over. I fear where I just left. So that is fueling me to push forward.
Yes. Yes. I am loving this episode, let me tell you. This is real, this is real.
Yes.
I tell people, I've shared this, a few times on the podcast, but, this very podcast was a thought in my mind 3 years ago. 3 years ago. And it took me until February this year to launch it. And oftentimes ask myself, how much further along would we have been had I taken action then? Right?
Absolutely.
And to your point, you kind of have to get to that point where either somebody pushes you beyond that point, right? Pushes you off the ledge that you're standing on, or you just get fed up. You get tired of being tired and you actually take that action. So you hit the nail on the head there for sure. Are there other tips or wisdom that, you'd like to share to help us, get out of planning mode when the vision board is done to begin to, as Lucinda likes to say, activate the results that we so badly desire?
Absolutely. Understanding that you cannot tell everybody about your vision and your dream. I keep my vision board
Boom.
up in my living room.
Yes.
And I keep it up in my living room because I don't have strange energy in my house, meaning non-dreamers, non-believers, non-visionaries, critics, and people who have the lack mindset. And so I gave myself permission to put it up so my family can see because I need their support. And if it's just my vision board, my vision board, then I will be in my own world. But if they are able to see how I've incorporated the future of our family and now it encourages them to do their own. My husband, he'll still, okay, what's going on for us for the year, babe? So he will, he'll crack jokes, but ultimately I'll put the vision together, but we're one, but it's up so that we can see where we're going. But I don't share it with everybody. I'd rather have the people watch me do what I do.
Yes.
Watch the manifestation than me tell you what's about to be manifested. That's between me, God, and the people that I trust, such as yourself and those who are listening, because I believe that you're connected with leaders, teachers, and visionaries. But, we have to be careful with who we share the vision with, because some people, not that they mean harm, they just
talk you off the ledge.
Yeah, they'll talk you off the ledge because that's all they're used to.
Right.
They're non-dreamers.
Their own
So
fears. Yeah.
Right. So they don't mean to say, this is not going to work for you, but they're scared for you. They're scared that you may make it and forget them. They're scared that you may do something that may upset you and it may not work. So there's so many different fears that people put on you, and I have my own fears that I'm trying to get over. I don't need to worry about my best friend's fears, my Aunt Sally's fears, Uncle Bob, and my man. That's just too much fears. But that's what happens. We start to share our visions and our dreams with everybody who's not in alignment, expecting them to give us answers to something that only we have the answers to.
I couldn't agree with you more. I could not agree with you more. And to add to that, one of the things I've learned to do is to at least get to the point where I have tremendous clarity.
There you go. That's it.
Because I think part of the fear piece is the fear of the unknown, right? It's you're questioning, like this is an idea, but I don't know if it can get done. And so the first person that comes along and says, this is a garbage idea, you're like, you know what, you must be right. So I like to actually, flesh out my ideas. And as you said, speak them. If I'm going to talk about the idea, which is important, right? For market research
very
purposes.
Important, very.
Right. But I speak to either who the idea is going to serve, or I speak to the people that are in my mastermind, in my network of wanting to help me kind of see this idea through. And, I will work to get clarity to prove that what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to do. Once I know I'm going to do it, I don't care who sees the board. I don't see who sees the goal.
That's right.
I'll share it with the world.
Yep.
But I think a big piece of that is the clarity piece. You really need to make sure you're sure.
That's
and
right.
then, then share it with the world. And at that point, you're ready to take on the objections and speak to them, or just not speak to them and keep moving on, right?
That's right. That's
love
right.
It. Love it, love it, love it. Lucinda, I would love to have you share some of your most treasured tools and resources. It's a part of the podcast. I'd love for you to maybe share what's one book that you've read that's inspired you most.
Oh my gosh. I love the T.D. Jakes. He has a book called Reposition Yourself, Living Life Without Limits. That book is amazing. It will help to push you. It talks about just even going against some of those fears that you have and just getting in alignment. So it's called Reposition Yourself, Living Life Without Limits by Bishop T.D. Jakes.
Nice. I'll definitely be adding that to the queue. Lucinda, what's something small that you've done this month that you're proud of?
Wow, you know what? I'm proud that I've been consistent with my workout regimen. I've been consistent with, because I love food. So, for me to be consistent with making sure that my health and my body is staying active and I'm getting to bed and getting enough rest, that right there is key. I do want to mention my book. I forgot. My book is a good book because it goes with the vision board process. Activate Your Vision. That's the new book that I have out. Activate Your Vision, How to Take the Vision Off the Board and Into Your Life. That's one tool that I highly recommend. Not just because I wrote it, but because it's something that I wish that I had when I was creating my vision.
Girl, it's a good selfish plug.
Yes.
Absolutely. Get it in there. So I'd love to have you name an online resource. It could be an app, a software, or a tool that you use every day, and you can't live without it.
Oh my gosh, this is going to sound selfish. There's an app called Cash.me.
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 I've never heard of this.
So if you're in business, and I'll tell you why, because I'm a vision person who is very visual and audio, right? Cash.me, when you're like, my products are connected to Cash.me. And so you hear when money's being deposited, it makes this cha-ching sound on your phone. So it'll say ching, ching. And so it lets you know you've got some money. So it's not like looking into your PayPal and it says notification of money. You literally hear it. So no matter where you're at, you'll hear your phone make this nice ching sound, and it's cha-ching, cha-ching. And you're like, oh my God, I just got some. So to me, that's like a good motivator, and it's a great app, but it's Cash.me.
That is a good one. I have to check this out.
Yes.
So Lucinda, before we wrap up, I'd love to invite you to share one action that all our aspiring trailblazers listening to you right now should commit to this week to help them blaze their trail.
My goodness, in order to blaze your trail outside of creating your vision board, that's number one. Number two is to just start to declutter. Declutter your cell phones, declutter your closet. Pick one thing that needs decluttering so that something else in your life can open up. Trust me, it works. Declutter something. Your cabinets, your refrigerator, your closet, your shoes, your clothes, your car, your truck, your emails, even your Facebook friends, whatever. Pick one thing that you're going to
That's right.
declutter.
Yes.
Because I do think that we hoarder so many things.
Stuff.
This will really help you to just get closer to clarity.
Love it. Love it. Lucinda, I could talk to you for the rest of the night, man. I love this conversation. We're like minds.
Yes.
And, I just want to say thank you so very much for taking me up on this offer to come on to the podcast and share your mindset towards vision boarding. And I'm excited for everyone, to be able to look at this as a way to set goals coming into the new year, to be able to visually see kind of what you would like to step into and to take action towards that. And I'm going to begin working on mine. I've been working through my goals, but I love the idea of the visual piece. Like I said, I'm one that, I've pretty much documented much of what I'm going to do next year in Evernote because I'm an Evernote junkie.
I love Evernotes, yes.
But, I love the idea of putting this up on the wall, on a board. And so you might be the tipping point that got me to take action on that.
Yay! Awesome, yes.
So, tell us how we can stay connected to you and maybe how, those listening might want to take part in one of these vision board parties of yours. How can we stay connected and connect with you on that?
Everything is on my site at lucindacross.com. I have virtual vision board parties. I actually have one coming up in a week or so, a virtual one where we're actually doing it together. You're able to see me and it's a lot of fun. But most of the information is at lucindacross.com. And I love to play on Instagram and Twitter. Those are my hubs. So connect with me there as well on Lucinda Cross. You may see my last name, married name, Lucinda Cross, OTT, but definitely connect with me on my website.
Fantastic. And for everyone listening, we're going to put all the resources that Lucinda shared on our show notes page at tbpod.com. Lucinda, thank you so very much. Really, really appreciated having you here.
Thank you so much for having me, and I'm excited to be a part of this platform.
Yes.
I'm Steve Nehart, and you've been listening to the trailblazers.fm podcast. If you're not yet doing so, consider following trailblazers.fm on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, and feel free to connect with me over on LinkedIn. Whenever you're posting stories or social media posts about trailblazers.fm, be sure to use the hashtag TBPod and hashtag MissionFuel. We'll be able to see you and I'll be able to show some love. And in case you're not aware, our show notes for all our episodes can be found on our website over at tbpod.com. Now, if today was your first time listening, I just want to say big ups, enough respect for checking us out. You've made this Jamaican guy really happy that you're here with us today. And I'd love your help with keeping this Black excellence flowing each and every week. So if you haven't yet subscribed, hop on over to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Search trailblazers.fm and subscribe, rate, and review us there. Be sure to browse through some of our past episodes. There are more than 150 published episodes now, and a little something is out there for everyone to help keep the knowledge flowing. We grow when you, as part of our Blazer Nation community, shares and invites your friends and family to listen to an episode you think might impact them most. We believe that someone listening to these inspiring stories are going to be moved to make significant changes that have generational impact for many others, both now and well into the future. Don't miss next week's episode. New episodes are released each and every Monday morning at 5 a.m. Eastern. Blazer Nation, go out today and find a way to rise above, go way beyond, and keep blazing your trail.